I think most of my personal development the last 5-6 years has been in reaction to work. What I need to do because of work to be more performant, to succeed, to do things better. But it all came, I think, from work, from the fact that you don't have a choice. You're your own boss. Nobody's telling you just wake up, do this, do that. If you want that paycheck to keep coming, like you really need to get up and do what you need to do, right?
Hi, and welcome to the Mindset and Performance Podcast. I'm Dris. I help athletes and business professionals with their career development. We work on a wide range of areas from psychology to strategy and execution, but we focus essentially on the mindset as it is the key to everything else. The whole idea behind this podcast is to deconstruct the habits that led people to their success, to learn from their experience and understand the psychology behind their actions and behaviors. And of course, to gain key insights that you can apply to your own life. A career change to self-employment can be exciting, yet quite challenging if you don't have the right systems to navigate through its ups and downs. So during this podcast interview, Hicham tells us about his experience and how he moved from a safe and secure career to self-employment and a personal and professional growth journey. Hicham is leading a digital agency specialized in the hospitality industry, helping luxury hotels and resorts achieve their revenue goals. So through effective paid media campaigns management, data insights, in-depth industry knowledge, the agency connects hotels with new digital technologies. In this interview, Hicham shares with us key insights on how to start your own business and maintain sustainable growth. We talked about his early years and what influenced his mindset. His journey is filled with lessons that you can relate to, and Hicham talks also about how he keeps high performance levels with his daily routines, nutrition, and time and priority management. So in this interview, you can learn what it takes to be self-employed, what are the main challenges that you'll be facing and how to navigate through them, how to organize your day to be efficient, what processes you should put in place to keep learning and growing, what kind of books you should be reading, and the mantras that you can help you stay focused. So I have known Hicham for quite a while now. We recorded this podcast when he was passing by Bali, Indonesia. We tried to do it quite few times before that, but our timetables didn't match and we just didn't have time. We were quite busy, both of us. And even though I was aware of his entrepreneurial driven profile, it was good to get to know more about his background and what made him who he is today. Right, so enjoy the podcast. Okay, how are you today?
Good. Woke up a bit under the weather, but overall good.
Right, nice. What happened?
Just slept a bit too late. Had too much on my mind, so I needed distraction. Started watching a movie, and then I ended up finishing the movie too late.
Is there a lot going on these days?
A lot of work and a lot of little unfinished things that keeps your mind awake.
And actually, how do you introduce yourself? Because I was thinking about how to introduce you in the interview, and I didn't know the title. What should I about you? What do you write on LinkedIn actually?
On LinkedIn is a whole paragraph, so let's avoid the LinkedIn thing. If people ask me what do you do, usually I say I'm in hotel marketing without being too specific about my role. Then eventually mention that I'm a founder of the company. But I don't give myself specific title. So founder, it's more founder, and then I get into specifics.
Okay, well, tell me a little more about what is it specifically that you do? What company are you referring to here? You have two companies, right?
Yeah, so we have two things. One is a hotel marketing agency. So hotels outsource their marketing services to us. And that has been going on for about four or 5 years. And second company that we launched 2 years ago, officially, a year and a half ago, but we started working over 2 years ago. And on that one, it's a software for hotel websites. So it helps websites improve their revenue, their production on their own uh, the right websites. So it helps them, the users that visit the hotel website eventually get to book more on that specific website. So
As far as I understood, it's a little tool that is like the one you find in booking.com and like with notifications telling you how many people are visiting or booking actually the rooms, right?
yeah, so my background, like I will probably get to it at some point. I used to work for Expedia before. So what we've done is like the whole mindset of both companies is very similar, is to help hotels get access to new technologies, whatever these bigger companies are doing. And the knowledge that we gather from working with these companies, now we providing that knowledge and know-how to hotels. So we take in a bit of what already exists in the industry, obviously making it as better and enhance that those specific things, and offer that to hotels, independent hotels that would implement those tools on their own websites. What we do specifically is smart notifications that would adapt to the user and to the hotel. So based on a specific situation, we'll show smart messages to the hotel website visitor and entice them to complete the booking. So generating more revenue for the hotels.
I see. And when you say in we, like, do you have partners?
Yeah. So on this software company, we're 3 co-founders, and on the agency, we're 2.
Okay. How do you guys work with each other? Like, how's the dynamic?
So I'll speak mostly on one partner because we've been working together for way longer. We known each other forever, so it was kind of natural to when we started the business. It came. We knew each other. We knew we can count on each other. So there was a lot of trust built in beforehand. So that was kind of from the beginning. We both trust each other's judgment, and we know that we're going to do the right thing, or at least put the effort to do the right thing. And so it's very easy dynamic. There's no pressure on who's going to lead on this, on that. It's just things happen quite naturally. So whoever has the strongest feeling about something specific then leads that specific topic, department topic or project, whatever it is at that specific moment.
And do you divide your roles in a certain way? Like one is taking care of one thing, the other one is taking care of the other thing. What are the skills that are, let's say, shared and the skills that are unique to each one of you?
So from the beginning, I would say I'm more the industry expert. So
you've been working in hotels.
In the hotel industry.
In
So
this industry.
I've been in digital marketing for over 10 years plus, and in hospitality specifically about 8-9 years now. So I have a background of digital marketing plus really strong hospitality background, and coming from the performance marketing side of things. So when we started the business, I was kind of the technical guy. So with the better industry knowledge and the technical side of things. So we kind of divided things in that sense. More on kind of the operational things on one side and more the technical part on the other. And I was in charge of more the technical part. But then things evolved. Now I'm more of a sales guy than anything else. So I'm really in charge of business development. I started on the agency first, and then on this company, definitely in charge of business development. So partnerships, client acquisition. So I went to that because we needed it, and I found myself doing it, and I ended up being decent at it.
Good at it.
Yeah.
And what are the skills that you transferred, would you say, from your previous career, as in you were employed, right? Not self-employed before. So what are the skills you think you have transferred from back then to now? And how did they help you kickstart this journey of self-employment?
I mean, there's a couple of soft skills and hard skills. So I would say working for a big corporation, you learn how to deal with stakeholders, whether it's your bosses, whether it's people you playing with their, let's say, their budget. So it really depends on who which kind of people you work for in that sense. So you learn how to be way more professional. Like working for big corporations, standards are way higher. So that that helped me a lot. So whether it was doing presentations, dealing with C-level people, and those kind of skills, and then obviously being working for the leader, the pioneer of a specific industry helps a lot. Gives you a lot of confidence. So kind of Expedia started the movement of online travel agencies.
Right.
So they're the pioneer in that field. So obviously you get the recognition of when you start your own business. He's the ex-Expedia guy. So it gives you a lot of credibility and confidence. Ultimately, it's the confidence.
I see. And then I was curious also to know, why did you choose this specific field? I mean, you could have landed doing anything else. I mean, like, would you say that you are passionate about what you do? So I know it's a double question here, but like choosing the field and being passionate about something, sometimes it's overlap, sometimes not.
So how I got into the industry, I used to work so I used to live in London. So most of my career has been in London. So when I worked for a few different agencies in London, and then I had an opportunity to work for Expedia. Way bigger company, very good products to sell. That's really what drove me to Expedia, and way better pay. So let's be 100% honest. So when I moved to Expedia, I didn't know I was going to be passionate about the industry, but everybody loves travel. So it's not like you're selling insurance or you're selling banking services or something boring. You're selling travel. So that's a good product to sell, and it's something definitely you believe in, and it's easy to feel comfortable with it. So when I first started working there, slowly I started getting really, really passionate about it. And you feel that you're good at something, or you're working for a company that's really, really good at something. That's how I think I built up the passion. But now I would definitely say I'm very passionate about it. So I have really strong feelings about how the industry is going. And so yeah, I would say very passionate.
And so when you quit your previous career, and what was your plans back then? It was like, okay, I'm gonna just take some time off and do something and find out what that thing is, or was it like clear? Okay, I'm gonna be self-employed and I'm gonna start something that is in that same industry.
I wanted to stay in the industry because I knew
How to navigate, how to...
I had an advantage. Yeah. That's how I looked at it. So worked for a company that was leading in a specific area. So I've built up good experience. And so I knew, like, my last year at work, I started thinking about, okay, what can I do after this? So then I started having the idea of, well, you getting all this knowledge, you know who doesn't have all that knowledge? Hotels.
Yeah.
So they're not that tech savvy, so they're lacking a lot of the skills and the knowledge. So I started thinking in that specific way.
Okay.
And I saw the opportunity, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I had an idea, but it was a bit too technical at that time. And my initial idea really changed, and just we adapted to the when we first launched. So I launched with my partner. So when we first launched, we had an idea of selling a specific product. Then he evolved, and we just adapted to the market and the demand, and just started selling the services that they needed.
Can I ask also, why did you decide to quit in the first place? I mean, a lot of people, older generation, I would say, they stick with a job for, 20, 30 years, even more. Millennials quit a little bit earlier. I did that move a few years ago. My reasons might be different than yours. What was your reasons?
There was a couple of reasons. So I would say first, it was a change in lifestyle. So
how did it look like back then? Okay. I mean, you can go back to that question. Let's pin it somewhere and talk about it.
No, I can tell you. Let's start with that one. So I lived in London, so I was going there anyways. So when I was younger, on paper, that was the life that I wanted. So live in a big city, London, New York. That was kind of the choices from the start. So I had this idea that this is the kind of life that I want. It looked good in movies. So this is what I wanted, like a very nice apartment, centrally located in New York or London. And that was kind of not the dream, but when you're younger, early teen, that's what I thought. And as soon as I got it, basically, so I had a very comfortable life in London. Basically, what I was dreaming about, basically, and it was not exactly what I wanted. As soon as you have it, you're like, okay, this is not exactly
What's next?
What's next? It's not even what's next. It's like, okay, it's nice, but this is not making me happy.
Yeah, as soon as we tick all the boxes as a young adult, then we start questioning like what's going on now, and yeah, that's fun and nice, but maybe not completely fulfilling.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we all go through the process of ticking boxes. So I want this. Does it fit in the list? Good. But then you don't really look for, am I happy? What's the actual state? So I was not really in a very happy place. Good work, was doing good. Relationship, not really. And a couple of things led me to leave London. So just, okay, let's change. I want something new. And that's really why I kind of quit. It was not really, and there was a part of it was, okay, I need to give myself some time to start my own business.
Okay, it makes sense. Okay, so back to now, actually, rather than the past. What were you thinking when you started? I mean, thinking mostly also what were you feeling when you started this new journey, this self-employment journey? Excitement, a bit, I don't know, worry.
Mostly excitement. Back then, I think when I left London, I came to Bali. So I spent a bit of time in Bali, and that's really, I give myself a bit of time just to disconnect. And then I started really working on the idea of starting something quite quickly. I gave myself a year to figure things out. But very quickly, after I think 3 months, I already just naturally just started wanted to do something, wanted to work on something, and it came naturally. So it came with like I did on my own terms. Nobody pressured me to do anything. I had savings, so I didn't really have the pressure to, okay, I need to start generating money or anything. So I really did it on my own terms. So when you do it that way, I think it comes with a lot of excitement. There was no worries or anything. Just let's do it for the fun, and there was only excitement at that time. So before things started to be difficult, and before the challenges, at the beginning was all excitement, I think.
And did the vision, or not the vision, the expectations from self-employment change when you started? And at what point specifically when it started changing? Because we do all expect self-employment to be some certain way, and perhaps it is that way, perhaps it changes.
I mean, I didn't really have any expectations. Yeah. I started doing this just, okay, I need to do something. I see an opportunity. Let's see where this leads. But without any specific, this is going to be $1 million business. This is going to be this or that. So there was really no expectations at that moment. And like before, throughout my career, I always freelance on the side. So I always had clients, people from my network. So I always had 1 or 2 clients freelancing. So I had kind of a taste of self-employment just by doing it, those freelance gigs that I had.
Right, I see. And let's talk then about the fun parts about self-employment and also the challenging parts of it.
The fun part. I mean, it's just the empowerment that you feel. You know what I mean? Like you do everything on your own terms. And it took me time to adjust to this, but it gives you comes with a huge feeling of empowerment that everything happens on my own terms. Where I live, everything that I do, it's really my own terms.
What do you mean it took you some time to adjust to it?
Because sometimes I would put right to sleep, I would put work first. So let's say I would, instead of doing things, okay, this is how I want things to be, and things will fall into this box, right? At the beginning, I had a tendency of doing, okay, what's the situation, and I'm gonna make my life fit in that specific situation. And I had a switch of, you know what, just, can we curse on the podcast?
Yeah, sure you can.
At some point I was like, you know what, fuck it. This is how I want things to be. It's not a big deal if, let's say, from a client's perspective, from a, I don't know, staff perspective, it's more what was a better fit for the longevity of the project and how I wanted things to go.
Okay, got it. So you were talking about the positive things about the fun part of being self-employed. Is that it? Or shall we, because I guess we're going to come to the challenging parts and there will be a lot over there too.
Yeah, so fun parts, I don't know, just doing, starting something, the excitement of starting something new, a new project. There's always something new. When you have a business, there's always a new area to tap in. Something that needs to be done, like a new marketing project. So anything that you haven't done before, there's a whole excitement of doing it for the first time. So that's mostly what's good about it. So the fun part would be, sounds a bit nerdy, but that's...
that makes sense. Yeah. Relate to that. And what about the challenging part?
Challenges, the biggest one probably is it's mentally. It's the whole entrepreneurship, I would say, is just a mental game. It's draining. It takes a toll on you. So you're always thinking about a business. You never turn off. So that's probably the biggest challenge. Like personally, what's challenging for me personally, and then you get used to it. So now I'm way better than before. Before, like, I would stress about emails the whole day. I would till I go to bed, I would check the email. If there's an email coming in, it was something important, I would have to reply right away. So I didn't really manage it well at the beginning. So it was quite stressful. It gave me a lot of anxiety and such. But then, like, with the years, you start being way better at managing.
More resilient.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't really so much feel the pressure. Things will be done when they will be done. So without putting too much pressure on yourself.
And how do you organize your day to be efficient?
So, like, I think that's why I recommend entrepreneurship to everybody. It's really for what it does to you. So I started doing a lot of things, changing my life around work. So after, I think, almost a year of the first business, I had a kind of a switch. I was like, okay, I need to, for the business to grow, I need to grow myself. I need to start doing things much better. I need to have a way better, kind of a cleaner life, better lifestyle, just way more focused, and put myself in the right position to succeed. So that's how I really started paying attention to a lot of things. How I sleep, how I wake up, how I work, how I eat. So that's really work influence a lot the lifestyle.
So it's actually what you're saying is being self-employed can help you and can help other people also grow somehow personally as well, right? Like improve, like some sort of personal development to influence your professional developments as well.
Absolutely. I think most of my personal development the last 5-6 years has been in reaction to work. What I need to do because of work to be more performant, to succeed, to do things better. But it all came, I think, from work, from the fact that you don't have a choice. You're your own boss. Nobody's telling you just wake up, do this, do that. If you want that paycheck to keep coming, like, you really need to get up and do what you need to do, right?
But the thing is, what I've seen with some of my clients, or maybe just people that I know and in my circle, is that when they are used to being employed, like pressure is coming from the outside, somebody is telling them what to do. And also they like kind of they have to go and sit in the desk and do their work from 9 to 5 or whatever hours they work in. They find it very hard afterwards to do that self-induced pressure to sit down and get that discipline and get that routine in check so they can deliver for themselves when they're self-employed. So what they do is, I mean, some of them would give up and go back to employment, and some of them will have to recreate the same environment, which is with the workspace, with the workplace, let's say working in co-working spaces. And some of them still keep on struggling with it because there are distractions. There's nobody telling you what you have to do. There's maybe some savings in the bank. And so what you're telling me here is that you actually self-induced yourself with that kind of necessary, good, healthy pressure to sit down and learn, be organized, clean up your life, and get the structure you need to be able to deliver. Is that right?
Yeah. So what worked for me, I was I'm not gonna say yes. I'm gonna say it. I was a procrastinator. I was not the best employee. Like you would always get like in whether it was school or work, I always had kind of the same kind of feedback. Smart, gets it, could work a bit more. That was not laziness, but it's just I was not pushing myself too much. So I did what I needed to do, what needed to be done, but it never pushed myself too much. So the self-induced pressure, obviously way higher than the pressure that I had at work. So my own standards for my own business are way higher, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So what specifically is your routine? How do you organize your day to be efficient and effective?
So this is with I tried a lot of different things, but what works for me is I wake up early. It depends where I am in the world. If it's not too cold, I would probably wake up way earlier, obviously. It's hard to get out of bed when it's cold outside. So usually I wake up around 6. So it could be 5:30, 6:30. So within that range, definitely before 7. Right away, I need to work. I do coffee. I need to sit down on my computer right away. This is like the most important 2 hours of my day. That's why I do the biggest chunk of my own work. Then obviously I need to deal with the team, have calls, clients. So the rest of the day is more filled up with those kind of things. And but the most important part is those 2 hours. So I need to have caffeine, strong coffee in the morning, black, and then I work. What I do, like usually depends on the days or period in my life. When it's very stressful, so I really need to have a very strong routine. So now I really take care of myself, like do the mindfulness, stretch. That at 20 minutes before starting to work, I need to do something. I need to take care of myself a bit. So that's when times I don't do it religiously every single day. I used to, but now well, depends on my mindset, the specific situation where I'm at. If I'm struggling at that time, I would be way more prone to doing this kind of things. And the main things is waking up early, working those hours, and gym. I need to gym 2-3 times a week.
Some sort of fitness or gym?
Gym, well, I put everything on the gym. So whether if I need playing sports, tennis, or whether tennis, I don't play football anymore. I'm a big football fanatic, but I'm getting injured too often, so I kind of quit. Play tennis. If not, is hitting the gym. The gym, whether lifting weights or high intensity workouts. But I do the gym part mainly for the mental health. I see it. If I don't gym for like a week, maybe the second week, I start to feel it. I'm getting everything everything annoys me. I'm struggling way more with life.
Right, I see. And so you mentioned also working from different places. You mentioned the cold place, if you're in a cold place or warm place. Yeah. What about that? Like, do you spend time in different places?
Spend time between Europe, Amsterdam, and Southeast Asia.
Right. Okay.
And so mainly between Amsterdam, Bali, and Bangkok.
Okay. Okay. Strategic places. Yeah.
Yeah. So business is based in Amsterdam, and client base. Those are our two biggest markets. So Bali and Thailand.
Is that considered as being a digital nomad?
I don't really like the term digital nomad
Okay.
because it's it's a solid business with employees. We
Not like a freelancer, right? That's
no,
maybe
exactly.
more
So
digital
it's not a
nomad. So-
freelancer. I'm not a graphic designer. So not that something wrong with it, but I don't have that lifestyle. I would say I have a corporate life in a lot of ways. So I have employees. I have calls. We have a team calls on a regular basis. I have to deal with a lot of people, but we do it remotely.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. Okay. So when you said like, yeah, moving from one place to another, I don't know how much time you spend in one place and the other one, but like, how do
Be a
you
couple months at a time.
couple months at a time, and how do you navigate that change, those changes?
It's just about us having the right environment. So, like I said, I need to work right away. So as soon as I wake up. So at least if I have whatever it's a home or co-working spaces, I need to have my space. So right away where I can easily work from. And gym. I need to anywhere I go right away. I always have like flexible memberships. I do everything on monthly basis. So like it has to fit my lifestyle as well. So I need to be in place with them in Bangkok. I need to accommodation that I take always has a gym inside, a pool and a gym. Bali, same thing right away. As soon as first thing I do, I get my membership. As soon as I land, the next day I'm already I sort out my membership and a couple things. And Amsterdam, same thing. So the must-haves for what I do for me to be in the right environment is having a co-working space, having at home a space where I can work for those 2-3 hours in the morning, and access to a gym, easy access to a gym. So
Yeah, to be
easy
able
is the
to-
key word here. Is easy access to all those things. So I need to live really close to the co-working space. So to avoid any obstacles to get into work, get into a gym.
I see. And when it comes to challenges, again, if we come back to those, was there any specific moments where it was quite challenging? What I'm mostly interested in not what are those moments, but like how did you navigate those challenging moments? And from a psychological point of view, what did you say to yourself? What were you thinking? If you used an external resource, like I don't know, like maybe talking to a coach or talking to a friend or your business partners, how did you approach challenges?
So I do a lot of self-talk, I guess. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier, after my first year, one of the self-talks I was always telling myself is, okay, like act like a CEO. That's what you're trying to be. So act like it, meaning do the right things, clean up your lifestyle. So that means going to bed early, doing the right things, eating well, waking up. Back then, I was never like a big waking up early person. Before I was not a morning person. Then now I'm definitely am. But back then that's the biggest change was, okay, the 5 a.m. club. I started doing it. So I started doing those things, and that helped a lot. So that was kind of the first shift. So that self-talk of, okay, you need to act like it to become it. That was one of the main ones. Then I think I have like on a regular basis is just proud myself to be a grinder, a hustler in that sense. So I just go for it. So before I was not pushing myself enough when in my corporate life. I was not really going for it as much as I do now.
You keep on bringing the routines around your life, which is a very important point, I guess. So you mentioned also here the self-talk, like talking. Do you hear it only, or do you also see it? You see yourself as a CEO? Like, do you picture it, visualize it?
Yeah, I do that 5-10 minutes within my morning routine. There's visualization where either I do it for my day, so how I want my day to go, and the bigger picture. So what we are trying to achieve as a company and personally, where I'm, well, kind of my ambition. So the end goal.
Yeah, it makes sense. And do you consider yourself as, are you satisfied, I would say, like from your accomplishments so far? If we put a number from 0 to 10, 10 being super satisfied from what I have accomplished so far, and 10 being super, and 1 not so much, where would you place yourself?
I would probably put a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 has been, what's the title there? Was the label the average?
Yeah, average. I would say
Okay.
average.
Is that coming from a humble spot, or is it coming rather from a ambitious spot?
You can look at it both ways. So obviously, what I'm trying to achieve, we're not even there yet. So that's on one side. And the other side, I would be more the type of person that I would need to take some time to reflect on what we've done so far. And that helps a lot. So usually my business partner, we always have these conversations, and he's really good at it. Just taking a step back. Okay, look what we've accomplished so far. We are on the right track. So he's good at reminding me that part on a regular basis. But I would be more kind of I'm not going to say a negative person in that sense, but I always want more. We're not doing enough. I would tend to have that kind of attitude towards business. I think you can call it ambition, or you can call it not being satisfied with what you have. Could be. I think it's a bit of both, but that comes with the pressure that I put myself. I like to call it more ambition than more being negative. Looking at the glass being half empty versus half full.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, and then success. How do you define the word success?
It's a good question.
I have another question too. Okay, well, that is more related to the one before, but we can pin those two and choose the one you want to answer. So you said it was a 5, and obviously, all of us, we want to see ourselves at a 9 or a 10 even. So what stopped it from actually already being a 9? We can go here to technicalities, like if you want to specifics about the type of business and what you're actually delivering and creating, but also you can also go to like personal things, like, I don't know, just having a clear vision what I need to do, or just stepping in and doing it, or things like that. So there's many ways to answer that question.
I guess what would make it a 10?
Yeah.
At this stage, I think it's just time.
Time. Okay.
We're doing the right things.
Fair enough.
So we're not there yet, but I think we are on the path. Eventually, things will happen at let's say, a bigger scale. And
needing for any external resources?
Well, we're going through that process of we're doing the right steps to get there.
Right.
Without getting into specifics, but success. What is success is being like reaching your full potential. And I think there's I'm not like goal searching either, but I want to reach a certain level where I'm at playing in a bigger league, where I can say, okay, now resources are limitless. I can really reach my full potential. So basically, if you look at it from I take a lot of examples in sports. So sports always been very helped me a lot with my ambitions and reaching goals and such. So the way I look at it is, now I'm going through the motions to eventually get to let's say, to the NBA. Right now I'm playing in the minor leagues or the NCAA, whatever you want to call it. So in the second division, if we're talking football, European football. And we go into the process of putting the hours, putting the work to get to the bigger league, to the Champions League.
That makes total sense. I got it. Okay. What's the next step for you guys? What are you, if it's not too discreet, of course. By the way, there's a lot of competition.
There's competition. But the market is huge.
Okay.
So, I would have weeks or like specific days. What would be go a bit crazy about a competition?
Shaking them up.
Yeah, like you would see a post on LinkedIn, and it would rattle me a bit, and like I would think about it the whole day. But on regular days, I don't pay attention too much.
Okay, let's talk about positioning then. How are you different than the other competitions?
I think we have probably much more field experience. So coming from the industry on one side.
That's as you as a team, right? But
Yeah.
like, what about the product?
So that's how we've built the product. So coming from really experience, so working through the agency, that's kind of what allowed us to really understand the market better. So what we do when you're an agency, you're basically the marketing team of your clients, right? So they outsource a big chunk of their marketing to yourself. So your success is their success. So we've been in the position of the hotel. So we know we are the client. So that helped us a lot to create the product. So we've built the software thinking mostly about the user. And we knew well the end user, being the end user in a lot of ways ourselves. So we felt the pain point, the hotel struggle, and build the product in that sense. So how would the hotels interact with the product? How can it be as useful as possible, as easy to use? And so a lot of things how we made the product was taking the user in consideration and us being the user.
Do you consider your main clients? Are you like? I'm trying to ask the question in different ways. Who are you serving specifically? Are you serving the hotels, or are you also serving the clients, the people who are booking actually?
Our client is the hotel.
Yeah.
So we
direct
sell.
client, B2B.
Yeah, it's B2B.
Yeah.
Our business is B2B. So we help in the hotels. So they sign directly with us. But our tool helps their user. So the fact that it makes the booking process more simpler, easier, makes it easier to book, gives them the right information. There's a lot of things that we help in the users. And the fact that the users find it way easier to book that hotel when our tool is installed on the hotel website, it helps the hotels increase their revenue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, so what were you saying about next steps? What's next? What's coming up?
So we got to a stage where kind of our sales model works. The tool works. People happy with the tool. It's generating results. So it's let's say we have that validation, the market validation. You can argue market validation is when you have 100,000 customers, but let's say it works. People are happy with it. They buy it. When people pay for it, they're happy with it. So now it's just replicating that model, going to next markets. Next is Thailand. We hit in the Thai market. So building up another team in Thailand and replicate the model as much as possible.
Nice. Okay. Can we talk a little bit more about your background now, specifically about your childhood? And this is not a therapy session. Just, who were you as a kid, and more specifically, who did you want to be? Superman or Batman? Spider-Man?
So there's a couple of I'll tell you a couple of profiles that you understand where I'm coming from. Like a big influence. It's gonna sound a bit corny, but Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
All right.
It's a huge influence. This is the kind of guy that I like. When I was a kid, I was more that type of guy. Very goofy, a bit of a class clown. So there was that side. But class clown kind of summarizes it quite a bit. So on one side, and if not, like a football fanatic. So I've always been extremely competitive. I lost a bit of competitiveness in the corporate world, It was not. I didn't really understand the game well, but now like with my own business, I got it back.
Did you ever have a mentor or something? Like, were you close to parents, both?
Yeah, very close to my let's say nuclear family. My parents, brother, and I have a brother and a sister. Extremely close to each other.
Who did you look up to the most?
My brother has always been very positive person. Always pushed me to do things better. Like he always took good care of me. So we had always had a very good relationship.
Are there any phrases or words that you think that you carried with you through your teenage time and your adulthood?
Actually, it's coming more from my sister than my brother. My brother is more actions, but phrases and stuff would come more from my sister. So my sister really got me into the self-help books.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah, so my kind of Bible is Jack Canfield, Success Principles, and she got me into it. And basically, she would say always, "What would Jack do? What would Jack say?" So Jack Canfield. So like most of the family, we all know the book by heart, like all the chapters. So like the big ideas of the book. So I would do something. She would say, "This is not really Jack." So she really got me into those kind of books, and the specific book helped me make most of the big moves in my life.
Oh, wow.
Moving to London. So background, as you know, grew up in Morocco and moved to Canada when I was a teenager. So I spent, let's say, half in between Morocco and Canada before moving to London. So kind of most of my teen years and early adult life was in Montreal. So when I moved from Montreal to London, it was after reading Jack Canfield. So I was going into a specific chapter. It was about don't complain about the situation, but like just take action. Basically being accountable and take on ownership of the situations. So that helped me a lot.
And you keep reading these days?
Oh yeah, it's.
What do you read?
Well,
if you have
Jack,
one book to recommend.
Oh, this one I still read it. Like different chapters would impact you at different stages of life. Like every time I struggle a bit, going to either something personal, something about work. I'll always go back to this book. So I read other things. So I have this app, Script. So whether it's an audiobook or
the app Script, the one with summaries, right? The small.
No, it has everything. So
no.
He has
Script,
summaries. He has the audios, and he has the books. But you read it either on your iPad or phone. So I try to read like mostly self-help books. I think I should read more other things, but I'm mostly reading those kind of books. So whether it's the new bestsellers, the trendy books, let's say The Art of Not Giving a Fuck, or one of those books, Scale, more kind of entrepreneurship type books.
And you're an author yourself, right?
Yes, I am. So we wrote a book about the industry, how our view of the industry, hotel marketing. So we started, where the idea came from is, at first we're doing content marketing. So I was writing articles on a regular basis, just to post articles on the blog. So part of our marketing strategy. But then we thought about it, you know what, we should do an ebook. So we already have a lot of articles. Let's compile all these articles that we have and put out an ebook. But then you don't really stand out. Everybody has an ebook. Mostly we're a marketing company. In our field, a lot of these things have been done already, right? So we wanted to stand out and came up with the idea. So you know what, just why not? Let's write a book. It was extremely challenging, but not the writing part, but putting everything together. That's the hardest part. And so we published a book, I think like a year and a half ago. So April, May 2018. And So
nice. Well, that was a great conversation. Before we wrap up, I'd like just to go through a couple of funny sentences, we'll call them.
Okay.
I'll start sentences and you finish them. Okay.
Okay.
And before I forget, also I would like you to tell me what advices would you give to someone who's just starting. But let's spin that one and go back to it after asking the questions. Pressure comes from
Your own self.
all right. I'm happy if
I decide to be.
I decide to be. I love.
You need it. You need it. Love. You need it.
You need it.
Yeah.
Nice one. Okay. So what are the advices that you would like to give someone who's just starting or changing? So from employed to self-employed.
I would say, so I've given this advice on a few times already.
You do a couple of public speaking, right? Like you guys, or you specifically, speak sometimes in with group of people, right? So you do that.
Yeah. We do events on a regular basis.
Yeah, I saw some pictures coming here and there on your social media.
So the advice that I would give somebody that just started, and I give it to, I don't know, my brother and a couple of my close friends. When you start your own thing, if you can do it while you work, you can save yourself a lot of the mental challenges, right? So one of the biggest problems, and probably you faced it yourself, is the downgrade in lifestyle. When you have that job security, life is way easier. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. So all that worry that you can have when you start your own business, not having a steady paycheck, in the beginning, it's that becomes a challenge, and you get really anxious about it. But if you can start your business, put in extra hours aside of your job, that would be kind of one of my main advices. And second, start your own thing. Just start, just do.
But the thing is, like, this is a good advice. I believe in it. Like, that's actually what I would choose for myself too. This is not what I did, but that's what I would choose if I had to redo it again. But the thing is, most of people would want to make a change in their life because the lifestyle they had, it's really stressful. Let's say, I don't know, they work overtime, they are super stressed, they don't have a normal lifestyle, and they dream about being self-employed so they can have all the free time they want, which is not always the case. Like, not being a self-employed doesn't give you all the time you want, actually.
The opposite.
The opposite.
I haven't worked as much in my life.
So having all that pressure and a lot of work to do with your employer, what I would hear them now saying is like, but when would I be able to squeeze in any time to work on my personal product or project? Well, I had a client who was successfully doing that. Like she's in Germany, and she used to work in marketing, and she had a lot of time. But the thing is, with her, she was extremely structured, and priorities. She put priorities where they should be. Like, I mean, she would skip in a few things, like maybe social time with friends, or even, I don't know, rest time even sometimes, just to be able to put all her energy into creating her product. So would you agree on that?
Yeah, absolutely. The way to look at it, I would say, is it's a test. If you're able to do it, you're probably going to succeed. If you're able to start your own business, working part-time, so as you're already employed and you start on the side, if you are able to find time, that tells you that you have what it takes to succeed. Because you need discipline, you need to be structured, you need to really want it to be able to do that. So if you don't have those three things, I would say it's going to be hard for you to start your own thing.
Really good one. Thank you very much. I guess our listeners will have a lot of lessons to learn from your experience in our conversation. That was really cool. Is there anything you would like to add? I mean, I will, of course, share links to your whatever LinkedIn profile and website and things that you've been doing. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the listeners?
Some phrase that has been in my head for some sentence. Sorry, it's been in my head for a few weeks. Is from LeBron James. I know it's not him that came up with it, but get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's a good one. Yeah, we talked about it the other day. It's a really good one.
So this one, I'm sure it's not LeBron James that came up with it, but I've been hearing it from LeBron James lately.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. And yes, let's stay in touch. That's it for today's conversation. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the key insights that we shared on this podcast interview. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you didn't subscribe yet, and head to my website, thebodyandmindcoach.com/blog, to find exclusive articles about various personal and professional development topics. And finally, if you are an athlete or a business professional who's looking for help to advance your career and navigate through whatever challenges that you may be facing to win your game, or if you are a corporate organization who would like to offer their team a workplace well-being workshop, or if you are a sports team who's looking at unlocking their full potential, go to my website, thebodyandmindcoach.com, scroll to the bottom and hit the contact button and reach out. Thank you and enjoy your day.